I just want you guys to be safe. And that's the big thing that I tell people is, I also got told you only train special forces dogs. No, I train every dog to be the best they can possibly be.
Yeah.
But in policing, they want everything. Sometimes everyone gets the same opportunity, even if you suck. Well, not for me.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unleashed and Uncensored, the Inline K9 podcast. As requested, everyone's looking forward to this special two-part event. I got the CEO and head trainer of Viking K9, Mr. Rod Petrovic, joining us today.
Hello,
Thanks
everyone.
For coming on today.
Hello, everyone. This isn't coffee.
His internet sorted out. If you can get
it's
his
the
internet
crack of
sorted
noon.
Yeah. Hey,
First
Rod,
off,
so,
I'd like to thank our sponsors. Me, as Snoop Dogg said, I'd like to thank me, buy my shit, and Jack Daniels.
Can we get a link for that merch?
No, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, no, we're aware. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for wearing clothes today. We really appreciate it. And let's talk dogs. So first thing I wouldn't mind, I'd like you to introduce yourself and give me a brief background on, how you got into dogs, your career from the military to where you are now, and then we'll dive into some of it.
Yeah, so I started at PetSmart when I was 16. It was great. I did a 3-day course, and now I'm here. I was told that if you just look on YouTube, that there's lots of really good stuff. And one day someone's like, you want to learn hard surface tracking? You know what you should do? Just get a Dick Stahl YouTube video and that'll teach you. But in all seriousness, yeah, I started in the military when I was 16. Started with the reserves, did a tour overseas, came back, enjoyed it so much, thought I would go to the regular army. Did selection, failed. Did another selection for close protection, passed that. I was in 3 RCR at the time. Did close protection for a while, had some injuries, and then ended up going to the Hill later on. At the Hill, I was a supporter, I was a dog handler, did that for a while, and then I got out, and I was a cop in Durham region, just outside of Toronto. I left there because of the shitty leadership, and was a part-time cop up north. And I've continued to train dogs kind of the whole way through. I worked with the K9 unit in Durham. While I was there, we kind of brought together a training group, so I got to train with a bunch of different services, which I found weird because police back then and kind of even now don't really do that. They don't train together. Now I work with a larger police service in Southern Ontario, part-time helping them out. Really good dudes, come a long way. Making really good advances, and I run Viking K9. We do pet training. We actually just got a contract at a nuclear plant, so we're doing drug detection now. Yeah, so things are really coming along.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Well, congrats. I kind of want to start at the start there and move through a little bit. So where was your first deployment when you were in the reserves?
Kandahar.
Yeah.
So I was on 306.
What year was that? Yeah.
2006. Yeah.
Fuck, we were there the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had I had some good tours.
You were just working Tuesdays then. I was working full time. But
yeah,
nobody
exactly. That's how it goes, right? I was just a baby.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So how long was that deployment, and what was the primary focus of that?
It was 9 months. We were the DNS platoon doing convoys and gate security and other stuff like that.
Did you come in with 1 VP when they came over? Is that the...
Yeah. No, with the 1 RCR battle group.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So into 2006 or 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Okay, so then you did CP for a while.
Yeah, did that for a couple years.
A lot of the same people from that world. What was that like?
Well,
and explain what CP is to people, because not a lot of people understand that.
So CP is close protection. You're a bodyguard, essentially. You're a team bodyguards that go in, wannabe special forces guys, trained at Blackwater. It was good. It was a good experience. I was really lucky. I was a bodyguard for Hillary Yeager. She was the NATO Surgeon General. The MPs really hated me. I know that's a surprise, but when close
I
protection,
find that hard to believe.
I know. Like that captain, Bobby, he was a piece of shit. So hopefully he gets hit by a truck one day. But one can only hope. He's a coward, and
we don't
so
like cowards.
yeah, it was good. I had some really good experiences there. It was really interesting because when you're a bodyguard, you almost lose the, not appreciation, but when you're with the general all the time, it's not a big deal to see generals. Like Major General Ward, I was his bodyguard for a little while. General Yeager, she was the highest ranking female in the Canadian Forces for a long time. Super smart lady, probably one of the smartest ladies I've ever met. She was a doctor, turned down her promotion to Major General so that she could stay a doctor. We went everywhere, all over the country, in Afghanistan. She's like, if there's a forward surgical team, I'm going to be there. So we were in the furthest fob east in Afghanistan with the Marines, where they were still like, we own that town over there, the Taliban's in that town, and we have like an OP up on that hill that we just took recoilless rifle fire from when we landed. Super hard lady, didn't take shit from anyone. I remember one time an MP tried to jack me up for like bringing her into the MP shack because we were trying to leave out of Kandahar to fly back. And I was like, she just wants somewhere to sit. And to me, it's not a big deal when a general comes in your office, but apparently to everyone else it is. And she was super cool. She didn't want anything from us. She just like wanted a place to chill out that was out of the way. And I was attached to the MP platoon as a guy from 3RCR. So I was like, oh, we can go there and maybe they'll give me a vehicle and we can drive around. And no, they didn't like that. And then the sergeant tried to come and jack me up at the airport, but they wouldn't let him through like the metal detectors. So he comes over and he's just like trying to knife hand me, but it turned out that he was gay. So the Aussie guy wouldn't let him through. And as he's like, this isn't a fucking tourist thing, blah, 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 he's going on. Her aide and her could hear them. So her aide's a major, Pat LeBeau, awesome guy. And he's like, if anything comes to that, you tell her, because we'll fucking tell him. We can go wherever the fuck we want. And I was like, oh, yeah. But I find,
whatever. In every job, but everyone thinks that their job is the next most important thing. So it's people can get up on their soapbox whenever.
Oh yeah,
right. So
and remember how you were force exempt to walk around where we're just used to. Whenever you came onto camp, you just stayed hot all the time, so you'd have like one in the chamber. Well, all the nerds, they're not allowed to have even a mag in because they'd probably shoot themselves.
Yeah.
So,
in fairness, I don't want them to have a round in the chamber.
I agree. So one time General Yeager said, because we were going out and we're like downtown somewhere, and it's like just me and some Italians that were coming to help me. And I'm like, if we get attacked, like, you got to have a mag in your gun. And she's like, Rod, if we get attacked and I'm shooting and you're dead, something's wrong. Like, we're all dead. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So she was awesome that way. But we're standing in line, and I had an extended mag on my SIG, like the 20-round mags. Yeah. And the guy's like, your mag's falling out. And I just remember, like, looking over at the guy. I'm like, we don't wear the same uniforms. I look like this. You look like a fucking nerd. Yeah. Like,
homeless.
Don't talk.
You look homeless.
Yeah, I look homeless. But I'm standing next to a major. Like, we didn't wear rank. We had different uniforms. Like, it's quite obvious that I probably know what I'm doing. Or I'm a drug dealer. Whatever. It's kind of the same thing in policing. So, that was good. And then I left in 2017. I left the Hill after being a dog handler for a couple years. That's where me and Josh met in 3 Squadron. It was awesome.
Yeah, so hold on, we're not going to glance over that. So you get to the Hill in what year?
2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah.
So you came in as a supporter, you said?
Yeah.
And where were you working before you went to the dogs there?
With
like
what was it back then? Training squadron.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Okay. So you do that for a couple years and then
no, like 6 months. It was good. And then solid 6 months.
was the whole goal right to go straight to dogs to begin with? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, the dog program there was only 4 or 5 years old at that point, right?
Yeah.
2006 is kind of when it started, right?
Yeah. So it started with Paul in 2006 when we just had one guy. And then they added, I think, 3 more after that. And then I was the storeman on the next course, and then I got on the next course after that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because okay, so walk me through that. So you're on the course. What does that look like in terms of length? And were the dogs? Did you have one dog, multiple dogs? What was your the focus there?
Our course was like a year long because my course went right on to SOAC, and so basically on, I think it was advanced CQB, they get a dog from then on, and that's what I did. So our course, everyone started with 2 dogs. I was really lucky when I was there, so we had Cliff, we had Steve K, we had Brad, and Mike and all them, and I got to help pre-train the dogs for course. So I just kind of followed Steve K around and Cliff and them and did whatever they said, and we got to pre-train. I think it was like 20 dogs at the time that we started with, because that's when we start.
Just to jump in, sorry, when you say pre-train, do you mind elaborating on that a bit? Just so people
like we started with them
for working dogs.
We kind of started with them tracking and a little bit of basic grip work, stuff like that, just to make sure they were going to pass the course. That was the first time they had the puppy program. So essentially Brad went out, found a good bitch and a good sire, and they tried this thing where we bought puppies. We bought 5 of them. None of them ended up passing, but it was kind of a genetic test thing to see if we got the best bitch and the best sire, put them together, and then did that. Would we get a good
Jordan.
result if we picked the pick of the litter? Yeah, would we get Jordan? So no, we didn't get that, and they all ended up getting washed, which was okay. I started with Jordan and True. They ended up being the best 2 dogs there. So near the end of the course, Johnny Two Feathers was with me on course, and he ended up washing his 2 dogs and then taking True for kind of the last couple months of course. Okay. And then we went on the the SOAC from the advanced CQB on, which was awesome. Good experience for me. Good to get to know the deck commanders and guys.
Yeah, the advanced CQB portion of the course is phenomenal. It's one of the best times I've ever had in the military. It was unreal. Like the type of work, the level you're exposed to. It's very well done. It's a very good program.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Okay, so you move on. You get posted to a squadron, or were you just hanging out in dogs and then going from there?
So it was a little bit different back then. Before, because we were so short for a long time, guys were injured. I think at one point I was the only dog handler for a long time. GF had gone overseas with a different squadron. I think Steph was injured. I think Craig was somewhere else, or he got hurt too. So it was just me kind of bouncing around. But when Pascal came, he kind of changed things back to the way it was, where we had specific dogs with specific squadrons. And I think that's definitely the way to go, because then the guys get used to the dog. Whereas when I was bouncing around before, I might do 3 days with you, and then 3 days with 2 squadron, and then go to 1 squadron just for a hit, and then leave. And no one gets to know who you are, no one gets to know the dog, and there's not as much trust. Whereas you could see when I got kind of embedded in the squadron and I stayed there, if you guys were doing CQB, I was doing CQB. If you guys went to the range, I went to the range. If you guys did a comms class, I did a comms class. And
it goes a long way in not only generalizing the capability, but building trust in the capability itself.
Yeah, and the handler. So, like, one of the days, me and you doing up in the fight room, when the guys were like, wait a sec, you went to Thailand to try and fight pro? I'm like, yeah, I did that.
What else did you do in Thailand?
Oh, way. Whoa, listen, I don't know.
Did you stay away, or?
You know what? As we talked about before, if I were to go to a blowjob bar and you can't see what's down there, you just got to go with it. So some of the hottest chicks are men.
Did the low octaves fucking ring a bell for you, or what?
I just blocked that out. All the bad stuff, you just like everything bad that happened overseas, you just push that down until you explode and forget about it.
Like any good man, just shove it deep down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, listen, that's how we deal with things, okay?
Yep. Yeah.
It's the only way. It is the way.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so you finish up in 3 squadron, lots of work. Obviously, tons of different type of capabilities, really building that into the squadron. You left in what year? 2017?
Yeah, 2017. April 2017.
Where'd you go from there?
Durham Regional Police.
Okay, so obviously I know all about this. So so talk to me just about the policing side of it, not the K9 side. So how long were you a constable for?
A while, couple of years, definitely.
Yeah. Get in any trouble there? What?
I had some information sessions. I didn't realize what a barricaded person was. I thought, just like in the Army, they actually had to have like shit in front of the door, like actually barricaded. No, they just have to like close the door. So when I was still with my coach officer, we get a guy and he's got a knife. He's threatening his parents. Now he's trying to get into the safe in the basement to get the guns. We're like 3 seconds out. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
So I tell my coach officer, like, we didn't all have tasers back then. It was just the sergeants. So I'm like, you go taser, I'll go lethal, and we'll do this. So as we pull up to the house, all the people are coming out. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I talk to the dad as he's coming out, and I'm like, what kind of safe is it? Is it like a cheap stack-on safe where we have to get in now because he can pry it open with a screwdriver? And what kind of guns does he have? He's like, he's got rifles, handguns, whatever. I'm like, okay, perfect. So, pow, I go cave in the door, combat clear that, start going in, and I'm like, I voice
Where's
out
your coach
downstairs.
officer?
Oh, he just happened to be on the front lawn with the rest of the people because there apparently was no more hostages.
This is a Fresh Pursuit, though, right?
Yeah, no, not that one. That one was exigent circumstances.
I do, yeah. Okay, yes, yeah.
There is a Fresh Pursuit one that was pretty funny.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So I tell the guy through verbal commands, "Come up, or I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face." And he comes around, and it turned out that he was like, "Holy fuck, who is that fuck?"
Yeah.
And he gave up, which was great. But I did have the most gunpoint arrests in the division for a solid year, which was great. But
you set a record?
I did. It was great. I set a record for most speed warnings because you can't go more than 50 kilometers an hour over the speed limit or you get this warning. Yeah. And I had a couple hundred in a month. But the problem is...
How was that information session?
Well, so in my defense for that, I always work solo. Strangely enough, not a lot of people wanted to work with me. So I like to work. And I don't like to be bored. I work straight afternoons, 3:30 to 3:30 by myself. And I was like, we smash bad people. That's what we do. And if they need it, they'll get it. And like, I can't read a lot of big words, but there's a lot of small words in the criminal code. So I just like learn that. And I'm like, oh, police can still do their job. And you just have to explain yourself. Like he became actively aggressive and he took an aggressive fighting stance. And then I punched him in the face until he stopped. I mean, I applied strikes, diversionary blows, and then he stopped. It was perfect.
Okay, you're not in court here. It's all good.
Yeah, but this will come up in court one day, I'm sure. Officer, can you tell me what you mean by... Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Still, years out. Oh, yeah. Whatever, fuck it.
Yeah. Case number 00345.
Yeah,
Rod
that little
Petrovic.
guy. Officer Petrovic, can you explain this podcast clip? But so I did that for a while, and I had been working with Durham Regional Police K9 before that. So while I was still in the military, we had been doing we'd been going to CPCAs and stuff like that. Yep. I had met with Durham Regional Police K9 guys for years before that. I actually had brought Jordan down there and worked with them a little bit. So as soon as I started, I was already working with the K9 unit, which was great. Worked with them on my time off. At the time, my sergeant on the road was pretty good, actually. So for training days, he would just change my shift so that I could go and work with K9 and wouldn't work my regular shift. He did a lot of good stuff for me at the time, I will say that. So we kind of got rolling there with the K9 stuff. We started the enhanced capability stuff there, and we're one of the first services, I think, to do it in Canada. Not the tick program, but the actual enhanced capability where we had certain dogs that could go in with the TAC team. And I got a lot of resistance to that in the beginning because they're just like, oh, you're some fucking special forces guy. You think you fucking know everything. And I'm like, I just want you guys to be safe. And that's the big thing that I tell people is, I also got told you only train special forces dogs. No, I train every dog to be the best they can possibly be. Yeah. But in policing, they want everything. Sometimes everyone gets the same opportunity, even if you suck. Well, not for me. So we had some issues there where, just like at the Hill, not every dog can do the job. So they get washed. In policing, they definitely don't. So you get shitty dogs sometimes, and they just aren't stable enough. Maybe they're a good GP dog, don't get me wrong, but they just can't do where they work in the gray. So, they work best in black and white. When you push them into the gray, they freak out, they bite TAC guys, they do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. So when we were there, of the 9 or 10 dogs we had, there was only 3 that were able to do it, 3 that were able to work directly with the TAC team. And I had a process that we went through, and you had to pass basically milestone checkpoints to get closer and closer to the TAC team. They were doing it. They were catching bad guys, like straight murderers, guys that were wanted on warrants for murder. Dogs are going down, biting guys, verbal recall back to the guy, send him again, bite him, come in, TAC team goes in. Great stuff, like really, really good stuff. And this was like 7, 8 years ago now, 9 years ago. When I left, I remember getting a call from the TAC staff sergeant and being like, well, one of the TAC guys got tagged really bad by one of the dogs. And I'm like, which dog? And fucking he tells me, and it was one of the handlers that I said, you're not allowed to do this. But as soon as you leave and there's no oversight, they're just like, I can do this. My dick's this big. I digress.
That's and that's fair, right? Because at the end of the day, especially I find with dogs, and we've all been there in terms of what you think you can do, what you're able to do, what you're qualified to do, and making your own mistakes is one thing, but if you're putting other people in that harm's way, that's the issue. So it's one thing for you to just try things during training by yourself in order to
100%.
Fuck things up, play with it, problem solve. That's all good. But when you start bringing other people in, that's when you better be damn sure that
and fail in training.
Either that dog's muzzled or So it's too bad. It happens a lot, but oversight is difficult, right? A lot of people just want to take their dog and do the best thing with it. Well, have you taught that dog to do that thing yet, right? Yeah. And that's you touched on the comment black or white. So I say something to all my clients, and I find, because when you're talking to people with pet dogs, I find the more like little acronyms or little things you can pop in that kind of encompass as much as you can work best, right? Because I could spend all day talking to them, but if they only take 20% of it, right? I find always or never, black or white. So if you're consistent in your communication, both with your punishment and with your rewards, at always or never, black or white, your dog is going to naturally choose the behaviors that get them rewarded and naturally not choose the behaviors that get them punished, right? Exactly. That's so important, I find. And it's just keeping it simple, always and never black or white. And some people have these different rules, right? Like, oh, at home they can get away with this, but not when we're in public. Well, your dog doesn't understand that, and you're only creating your own issues, right? And anyways, that's one of the battles that I find. And
it's going to be everywhere. Like it is, whether you're in police or pet training. I had a client come this weekend, and she said, well, I let my dog jump up on me sometimes, but it's a command. And then the dog jumped on her like 4 times. I'm like, but you didn't give that command. So now what?
So that should be punished, like 100%. Yeah. And that's the thing is some people, I tell them, like, at the end of the day, do you want your dog jumping on you? They're like, no, unless I call them. I say, okay, all right, that's up to you, but be prepared that you need to punish when they do it without a command then. Otherwise, you're not being clear to that dog. Mm-hmm. And then when you do decide to punish, that's not fair to the dog. You haven't been consistent with it. So either yes or no, like just be specific on what you're asking, right? Because I joke with people and everyone's like, I asked our puppy class who just graduated, I asked, why do our dogs do things for us? Oh, because they love us. No, that's fucking, and I was literally like, no, that's fucking dumb. I
Yeah,
literally said
that's
that.
dumb.
I'm at
Yeah.
I'm at the mall at Tanger Outlets here in Ottawa, and I was like, no, that's fucking stupid. I got a bunch of people watching,
Yeah.
and I said, why do our dogs truly do things for us, right? And someone says, cause they can get a treat. And I was like, bingo, because there's a possibility of a reward. They are in it for themselves. Dogs, yes, our dogs love us. But they do things because under the threat of punishment or the possibility of reward. Just like
They're
us in real
opportunists.
life.
Yeah.
Man, they are 100% opportunists. They are in it for themselves, and they will steal the steak off the plate in front of you, even if you haven't eaten in 10 days and they've eaten a full meal. So, like, they don't give a fuck about you. They want their food, right? They want their rewards, and they're going to look to self-reward at any opportunity. But we love them, and they're fantastic. It doesn't mean I don't give my shepherds belly rubs 24/7, right? But it's just I'm very clear on what's allowed or what's not allowed. Yeah, I know. Mine can swim too, unlike yours.
Mine can find drugs.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I don't have drugs for them to find. Just saying.
Me, neither.
Moving on. Yeah.
Moving on. Next question.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
so I left there.
You worked with Durham for a while. There were some personality conflicts, one would say.
Yeah, I would say. What I was told in my interview was your experience doesn't matter, even though you're obviously overqualified. Let's tag DRPS K9 in this and HR. Yeah, so I had an issue. I believe that they lied about what I said during my interview. They just said I didn't say something that I know I said because I only have like 8 sayings and I say them over and over again. So I got brain damage. And so essentially I tried to record my debrief. Took my cell phone out, put it on the table, press record, and you're allowed to take notes in your interview debrief. I had already talked to the association about this. I was told when we handed in our resumes by an inspector, who the inspector of K9 had called and said, why is Rod applying? And what he told me was, it doesn't have to be fair and equitable to the members. It just has to be fair and equitable to service. And those words are seared in my head. And he said it in front of a bunch of people too. Sergeant.
This is as it relates to choosing a new
new handler. No, this was just being a handler. So
handler, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had moved over, and when I was off on WSIB because of another shoulder injury, I was put into K9 to assist with training. So I worked straight K9, 4 on, 4 off. It was great. I just worked days, and all I would do was train the guys and their dogs. So I was there. A new sergeant had come in. He had been my sergeant on the road. He had been really good on the road. And then when he got into K9 and the higher up started to get to him, I think, he became a cocksucker. And he tried to tell me what training we were going to do. I explained that we weren't going to do that. We got into the enhanced capability stuff. The staff sergeant of TAC at the time didn't like what I was doing. But the sergeant down wanted it. So the guys that were actually operational on the road doing hits were like, hey, Rod, we can do this. And in the beginning, when I first started it, there was probably half the TAC team. They were like, no, we don't need to do this. I got the full TAC team out for a day. And I remember one of the guys that was a big proponent, even during the day while we were doing it. And I'm a big, I got big shoulders. You know, I'm very willing to fight someone. So if I'm wrong, tell me. And tell me why. But if I can explain it and it makes sense, we should at least try it. So
there's one of your 8 sayings.
Yeah, exactly. So this was at the start of the day. He's like, I just don't see us using it. And by the end of the day, he comes over to me and knocks on, I used to drive an unmarked K9 Cruiser, knocks on the window and he's like, hey man, I can actually see us really using this. This is something that we need to do. And this was one of the biggest guys that was he was on the staff sergeant's side, whatever. And then him telling me that, hey, we should actually do this was a big eye-opening thing for not only him, but me as well. And so I'm very big on doing the right thing. I know there's not a lot of people in policing that'll do that, but there's a hill I'm willing to die on no matter what. And I remember getting the call from the acting staff sergeant at the time. And he's like, Rod, you got to stop. Stop doing this enhanced capability stuff. Because they called me out saying that we told you to stop, and you still kept doing it. And so I said to this TAC staff sergeant that I don't work for him. I work for this other guy. And he was there when I was doing it, and he knew that I was doing it. So They didn't like that. And I got a call from this acting staff sergeant, and he says, you got to stop this. And I said to him, listen, this is the hill I'm willing to die on, so you better sort it the fuck out. And then I was kicked out that same day.
Excuse me. You were kicked out when? Sorry? Like, yeah.
That same day, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was literally doing a track with a guy in the middle of a field, and I get a call, and they're like, yeah, report to the headquarters. You're going to go replace Staff Sergeant Waters. And I'm like, what? So I get up to the headquarters, and I am not a headquarters person.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I hadn't wore a suit in a long time, let's put it that. I had to buy a suit to go into this role. So Gus goes and buys me some dress clothes, and I show up, and I had like a big beard and long hair, so much so that I go up to the headquarters, and the first thing I say is, I'm not here to suck anyone's cock. Turns out the guy I said it to was gay. So great start. So I go back to the guy that was in charge of me at that point, and I had trimmed my beard and cut my hair, and I walk into the office, and the divisional staff sergeant, and then I was with crew at the time, the crew staff sergeant was there, or the crew sergeant was there, and I walk in, and they're just looking at me. No fucking clue who I am until I start talking. They're like, Rod? And I'm like, yeah. I had like a trim beard like this, and I guess shorter hair than this, and I went and was the COVID enforcement staff sergeant or acting staff sergeant.
Oh, my God.
But I was really good at that job. So I remember the director saying to me, how many tickets did we give this week? And I'm like, 0. So to put it in context, I was in charge of all Durham region COVID enforcement. So all the bylaws, which is probably like, I don't know, let's say 15 of them for all the little towns. And I worked with Health Canada and blah, 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 and the Durham Regional Health Support Unit. And in my mind, I was like, I'm not a ticket guy, whatever. I speed. I have a Corvette, whatever. I just don't like it. If you're an asshole, you get a ticket. If you're a normal person, you get a very stern warning. And so she's like, well, how many tickets did we give across the region? I'm like, 0. And she's like, well, why? And I'm like, well, our goal is actually to give 0 tickets. She's, what? And I'm like, yeah, our goal is compliance. But I also threatened to charge the chief, because in my mind, Peel's principle of policing. The people are the police and the police are people. And what happens is when you get to these higher levels, sometimes they forget that we still have to follow government mandates, even as the police. There are some exemptions, obviously, but sometimes there's not. And when I'm in charge of all enforcement, that means that I'm in charge. There's no one above me besides like a deputy chief. So it works out really well when I say, if this service does not fall in line, I will charge the chief. That is my job. And I would think that that's what they expect of me. So I said that, and then she left the room immediately and went and got the deputy chief. And then I also said, okay, I'm leaving now. And if I need to call in the public order unit, I'll shut down one of the malls if I have to, but I don't want to. And she's like, what? And then I left. And my thought was,
you just dropped a grenade and walked away is all you did.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's my job. And they put me there. And I think one of the best thing was one of the King brothers said it to them. They're like, do you know who you put there? Like, Rod only believes in right and wrong, black and white. And we have a book. Like, there's like a criminal code and a highway traffic act. And at the time, the ROE and the EMCPA, we just follow those things. And that's what we don't just make it up when we feel like it, because that's how you get the shit. And I remember another time I'm sitting at the division, and then a divisional inspector comes in, and we're having our meeting. And he's like, what would you do if I told you you had to go cut your hair right now? I said, well, I would charge you under the Emergency Measures and Civil Protection Act, because no one can get their hair cut right now. So actually, where did you get your hair cut? One guy looks at me and goes, I'm leaving.
Listen, like, I don't even want to go down this COVID enforcement fucking hole anymore, because that was such a fucking joke, all of it. So,
oh God,
it's it was.
Can you imagine being the dickhead in charge of it?
It was well, I can, yeah, they really didn't know who they were putting in that. That's amazing. So I'm glad for them. That was good for the people of Durham. I can tell you that.
I think it was.
So, okay. So let's steer us back onto some dogs here. So
K9 stuff.
You drop a bunch of grenades. Moving on,
and then I peace out.
At what point did you start? Getting into Viking and that aspect with both pet and police working dogs?
So I was still in Durham doing Viking K9. It was small at the time. I did a couple pets. Because I was doing so much with Durham Regional K9, we had Halton come and train with us. We had Brockville come and train with us. We had a bunch of different services that were coming out. And I was actually, in my mind, we were kind of bringing it together. More so like we would do at the Hill. Like if SAS comes to Canada, Dwyer Hill sends 2 guys out, no matter what. Like whether it's to grease the wheels, whatever it be.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right way to do it. And all of us are smarter than any one of us. And I know now, just like I knew back then, that we can learn from everybody. And, I tried to get TPS to come down. I tried to get York to come down. And it wasn't really working at the time because in policing especially, I think, even 10 years ago, even now, everyone thinks they fucking know everything. And they just stay together. So, we can't work with them. We can't. Whereas I'm of the opinion that I can learn something from everybody, whether it's good or bad. I can learn something from everybody. That
was one of my biggest issues with the leadership in K9 at Dwyer Hill after Brad left. It was terrible. I'll be honest with you. It was flat out awful.
I have no doubt.
No,
I worked with them all.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. No ability to look outside of their own fucking head when it wasn't completely up their ass. So that was a big issue that I had, and I know a lot of guys did. Don't read books, don't listen to podcasts, don't do anything. Train the way we want you to train only. Don't bring anything up. And then if you ask questions, it just became an issue when training supersedes operational requirement. That's when everything's fucked up. And it became where I would just not tell them what I was doing. I would just do what I wanted to based on and not what Josh wanted to, what Josh thought and the squadron and my work needed for an operational capability. That's all I cared about was operational output, because at the end of the day, the dog can look as cool as it wants on my hip, but if it doesn't do the job when I need it, it's fucking pointless. And now I become a liability, right? So that was my biggest issue. And I know
one of the big things you said right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the big things you said right there is, and I say it all the time, operation has to drive training. Why are we doing this? And one of the things I tell my pet clients and I tell all the police people when I'm down in Napich teaching in the States is, if I can't explain it and it doesn't make sense, we shouldn't be doing it. All our training has to be foundational, whether it's based on very low-level psychology or experience. We should be able to explain it to a very high level. So, just like Pavlov. Why does Pavlov work? Because we ring the bell, we get a dopamine release in the dog's head. It should all be that. Why do we link stuff back? So when we talk about back chaining, I had a dog that, another trainer couldn't get to out. And they come to me, there's 2 days left on course, and they're like, Rod, we can't get this dog out. And I was like, okay, we're going to do place boards. And they're like, what do you mean we're going to do place boards? I'm like, we're going to do indirect reward. Because you guys have never done indirect reward. How do we teach a dog that if I do this, I get this? And, even last year, I was down at Napich in the States. I kind of run my own independent stand down there. And I do problem solving for everyone. So if your dog doesn't track, if you have grip work, if you have out problem, whatever it is, I will help you with. And a lady comes up.
How to detect an Adam's apple? Is that one of the things I understand?
Well, you know what I found out? Strangely enough, you're not allowed to ask a woman how many blowjobs has she ever given. And I asked that in front of a very large crowd, and she didn't answer. So who knew?
So
I thought it was a legit question.
This podcast was just getting off and now the guardrails are back on, and I'm going to get fucking HR
let me tell you, Swirls was there too, and so poor Swirls, and like she missed it for the year before, and then she comes back down with a new dog, and there's like Rod, and I'm like, hey, Swirls, take off all your clothes. But it was like what's it called when you just shout out random shit?
Tourette's.
That's what I have. Yeah, Tourette's. Yeah. But I just sexually assault and harass women.
Self-diagnosed Tourette's, I might add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when
brain damage is a hell of a thing. So hold on, just before I want to dive into the working dog side here shortly, but that's going to be on our second part. So what I want to ask you to end this before we move on is, why for you, and take a second here, why for you dogs? What have they done for you, and why do you continue to use them in the way that you do, besides just personal fulfillment?
For me, dogs are one of the most underutilized tools, especially in policing. And people think, okay, our dogs track and they find people and they find drugs, but we can do so much more. And the goal is to provide safety. And now, as much as we love our dogs, and me and you love Jordan, and we do all this, the fact is they're an expendable tool, because I can't replace Josh. I can't replace Juicy. I can't replace all those other guys in the squadron. I can't replace Brando and the guys in London. The guys on the TAC team, whatever it may be. And we can do a lot more, and we almost underestimate what they can do because of our lack of knowledge sometimes. And we got to keep pushing. And our goal, what I tell everyone, we want to get an inch better every day. If you can get a mile, take a mile, but get an inch better. And we can keep pushing. And so any working dog, I say, as soon as they're, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 on something, make it harder, make it harder, make it harder. And I've had guys get really pissed off at me, be like, no, it's not hard. Your dog just did perfect. Now we add more distractors. Now we add more distance. Now we add whatever it is. And we make it harder because we can push them further. And that's, in my mind, that's actually what the dogs want. So when the dogs settle, and especially Malinois, when they're like, okay, this is exact, you'll see they'll start going nuts. And like today in Durham, a dog went up the leash at its handler, and now they're getting rid of the dog. That's not a handler problem. That's probably not even a dog problem. That's a trainer problem. And we have so many people out there that think they can do it because they've seen it on YouTube or they've seen someone else do it, and they can't. And now we have units going downhill. And we have, just like Dwyer Hill, and we've both seen it. How do you go from one of the best in the world? So when I was at, the K9 concentration in the UK, or the K9 concentration in Halifax, we were one of the best in the world. Sealed, like Dev, Keg, I say Aussie SAS, Kiwi SAS.
Yep. I witnessed that overseas too, 100%. I would put our dogs against anybody. Yep.
And then what happens? Well, the dog, we don't want the dog to sit anymore. We want him to stare, so we're going to fry the shit out of him. Now our dog won't indicate on its host. Like, that's an issue, right?
Yeah. So it is big time. So for you, giving back to the police community and re-guiding that, and what do you take, like, what do they do for you physically? Like, what have they done for you since leaving both the military and policing? Because, you and I both know that's not an easy transition, and a lot of people really suffer from that, right? It manifests in different ways. Some people buy Corvettes and Rolexes. Other people start podcasts. So there's lots of different
Some of us drink and do drugs. I don't know who that would be, but...
No, it's... But, what have they done for you personally?
My big thing is people suck most of the time, and people are in it for themselves. Dogs don't really lie, and it's easy to tell when a dog's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking do this. No fucking problem. I'm very fortunate. I worked with Black Kraken Kennels and Fallen Star Bloodlines, and we produced what I would say is the next generation, the best dogs we've ever seen. And when you look at dogs like Freddie and Jack and Storm on the road, they're police dogs, they're going out, they've got bites, they're doing amazing things, and they're the next generation of dogs. So when I think back to, Paul and his first dog that he got that was a KMPV dog, I think he went on like a 3-week course, and it was a crazy dog to do a crazy job. Barry is a good example of that. And, we needed a crazy dog, and Barry Sr. was good back then because he would go in and he would bite. And then we started asking for free flow CQB, and we started asking for all this other stuff, and we're like, okay, well, now we need a clearer dog. We don't just need a fucking 10 that's fucking screaming all the time and getting in there. We want a cap dog that does this. For me, the fact that dogs don't lie is super easy. I had a client yesterday, and we literally took 45 minutes just walking up and down just to get the dog to heel with a lot of distractors. And I'm like, this is what it takes sometimes. Like, some dogs do it in 5 minutes, some dogs do it in 45 minutes, some dogs do it in an hour. But they don't lie. They just don't understand. And one of the big things that you teach, and like a lot of the, seminars that I think you go to, is about communication. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we're lacking, is clear communication with our working dogs and our pets, and teaching guys, we need to communicate. What do you expect? And trying to help the next guys get better than me. And I tell this, to the future trainers that I teach, in policing or CBSA or wherever it is. I want them to be better than me, because I was very fortunate that when I was at the Hill, I got trained by the best. And, when we had Brad and Hags and Steve and Cliff, and like, we got to travel all over, and all these guys gave all their knowledge for free. Anything I wanted, if I ever had any questions. I remember being in the UK with Franco Angelini, and, we had done a lot of grip work with Jordan, and I'm like, hey, I just want to do some capping around the bite suit because we've done a lot of grip work. Well, you got the suit on, just give me 2 minutes. And he's like, fuck, good point. We'll do it in front of everybody. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Yeah. And Jordan crushed it. Like, he did amazing. Yeah. And then other guys are like, we can't do that. And like, these are tier 1 guys.
Dave told us that we weren't allowed to push capping near the bite suit.
Dave also did fucking obedience in a bite suit, and he also outed the fucking dogs himself that were biting him. So, hickory dickory doc, suck my fucking joint.
I knew where that was going. The first sentence, that was a big one for me. I remember the bite suit obedience and shit. And it's just, somebody could say, "Oh, it's neutralization." I don't give a fuck. Exactly why? Exactly. That's my big one for me. Is this contributing to my operational success? And the answer is fucking no, 1,000 times over. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that for this part. When we come back, our next time, we're going to dive into, I want to talk a little bit about genetics and working dogs and the importance that plays, along with philosophies and training. And then definitely what you just touched on specifically regarding communication and problem solving. Because my big thing is communication overrides everything, because without communication, you're not even training properly, in my opinion. You might be able to achieve a desired effect in training without communication. The problem is it replicable? Can you do that again and again under distance, duration, distraction, and pressure, right? So, and for me, a lot of people can't, because people look at problem solving and they think, okay, well, I fixed this problem during training. Well, did you really change the way the dog thinks about it, or did you just punish the dog or did you just move the leash a certain way that changed the behavior? Not actually understanding the behavior in general. So I want to touch on communication and problem solving, how they're one and the same, and how they're not united as they should be across policing, especially in the dog training world. Yeah. Is that Mr. Barker? Yeah. That's
Mr. Barker. Apparently someone tried to invade our territory.
Nice.
Don't worry, none of the defensive IEDs went off.
I see. Well, they're not armed right now. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being with us today. I look forward to diving into the other half on the working dog side. And I think it's important for people to understand what Rod's background is and where he's coming from when we talk about the working dog side of things, because it comes from a place of, wanting to be better, wanting to understand, and encouraging right versus wrong right from the start, and not just trying to band-aid a problem. And I find that's what too many trainers are doing. And you, like you said, what we see on YouTube, what we see on Instagram. I did a podcast on this rise of the YouTube dog trainers, or social media dog trainer. And it's just
some of them are police dog trainers now.
And some of them, you know what, man, I'm sure there's some great stuff out there. And I'm sure there is, just through,
there is. Don't get me wrong.
Amount, but at the end of the day, that shouldn't be your only source of availability. Yeah. Exactly. And remember, what people want to show you in a 15-second clip is you never know what's actually being shown, right? So
100%.
Just like the media. So So yeah, I want to thank you for coming today, and I look forward to having you on our second part. I hope you guys stay tuned for part 2. This is going to be a really good one. I really want to dive into the working dog side of things, how and why, what we want from police dogs, what we want them to understand, and what we need them for, and how we can better educate the handlers to get them coming home safe and their dog coming home safe at the end of the day. So thanks a lot, Rod. I appreciate it.